Hey ladies and gentlemen, my name's Eric McLaughlin, and today I have a guest here, Mr. Brennan Hotchkiss. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me here.
So today we're going to be discussing Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck, which I read and I thought it was just a great book.
Oh, when I read it, I just couldn't even put the book down.
So, what does Of Mice and Men mean?
Well, after reading the book, my interpretation of it was that no matter how careful we plan the future, things often go wrong.
Yeah, not only in the book, but also in real life, huh?
Yeah.
So, what is the relationship between the two main characters, George and Lenny?
They're childhood friends. They've basically been together the whole time, like their whole lives. And they just have been going around working at ranches together.
So, even though Lenny gets kicked out of every single ranch that they both work at, why does George still stay with them?
George made a promise to Lenny's aunt that he would always look after him because, well, it's always good to have somebody looking after you.
Yeah, good friend if you ask me.
Yeah.
So, what does Lenny do to get kicked out of all of these ranches?
Oh, well, he just does things that he doesn't realize is wrong, such as when he gets kicked out of weed, he started feeling a girl's red velvet dress and she accuses him of rape.
It's never good.
No, not at all.
So, whenever they actually get to the ranch and they meet the bunkmates and the other ranch hands, what is Slim's role?
Well, Slim, he's basically a leader. He's somebody that everybody can go to and look up to, and he's just a good guy to basically have.
Seems like someone you always want to have around.
Yeah.
So, later in the book, Candy, he's one of the other ranch hands. He has an old, smelly dog that no one wants in the bunk.
Yeah,
so
also blind.
Also, never good.
Yeah.
So, they want him to put him down, but why can't he do it?
He just has such a strong bond. He's had that dog since it was just a little pup, and so when you have a bond like that, you just can't do it.
So, also, throughout this book, Lenny's a big, strong guy, but he's also so quiet. Why?
Well, when they came to this ranch that the story is at, George tells Lenny to be quiet because he always gets them in trouble and he always gets himself kicked out, and because George made the promise to Lenny's aunt, he always has to go with him. So they basically just can't ever stay in one spot.
Well, it just sounds like it's best for both of them if Lenny just keeps his mouth quiet.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, why doesn't anybody like Curly?
Oh, Curly. Well, he is, like, his dad owns the ranch that they all work at, so he's basically a tattletale. Nobody likes a tattletale, and so what he does is he'll pick fights with all the other people, all the ranch hands, and he'll just turn around and get them kicked out of the ranch.
Wow. So he's kind of like trying to be the macho man of the ranch.
Yeah, except that he's small, like the smallest one there.
It's just sad.
Yep.
So, there's a character named Crooks, and he's old and he's black, but why is he such an important character in this book?
He basically shows how his kind, the blacks, were treated back then, and that it wasn't ever fair for them.
So also throughout this book, there were little examples of racism. Could you explain one of them?
Yeah, one of them was when Lenny was talking to Crooks. Crooks said, "I can't even go to the bunkhouse to play cards just because I'm black."
It's never good.
No, not at all.
So throughout the book, George and Lenny often talked about their aspirations. What were they?
Oh, well, they mentioned it quite a lot. They always wanted to get this one place. It was just 10 acres, and it had plenty of things, like it had a windmill, it had a little shack with a kitchen in it, it had pigs, it had chickens, and then it had an orchard with apples, pears, apricots, nuts, just a whole bunch of other stuff. And also, because Lenny loves rabbits so much, George promised him that he would build some hutches for the rabbits.
Sounds like a paradise right there.
Yeah, definitely, bro.
So, throughout the story also, Lenny kills soft items. Why does he always pet him or touch him?
Well, just makes him feel comfortable, and like, it doesn't mean it, like to kill the things, like he killed a puppy, and he kills a whole bunch of mice just because they're so small, and he doesn't realize that he's hurting them when he's petting them. But it just makes him feel like he is safe and secure whenever he's petting something soft.
I like that feeling.
Yeah.
So, last question before I let you go, Brendan. At the very end of the book, George kills Lenny. Why does he do this?
Well, long story. Well, because he was told to be quiet, there was this one lady, Curly's wife, that George told Lenny to not even interact with, don't even be near him, and she obviously tries to talk to him.
In a sense.
Yeah, basically. And so he accidentally killed one of the pups from the dog that he was gonna get because he was promised that he'd get a puppy because he likes to pet soft things, and so he accidentally kills the pup, and then she comes in, and what happens is he ends up breaking her neck because she ends up freaking out because he was petting her hair too much, and so then he basically runs off, and the reason that George kills Lenny is because he didn't want for Curly to do worse, because Curly would obviously not like it because Lenny killed his wife and also broke his hand, so yeah.
Yeah, it's not too good.
Not at all.
So, Brendan, thank you for being on the show.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So, if any of you are looking for a good book to read, Of Mice and Men it is a wonderful book, and I recommend it to everyone.
Yeah, when I read it, as I said, I couldn't even put it down. It's just that good of a book.
All right, thank you.